I think this is easily answered by explaining what was on the charge sheet. On the charge sheet, the only allegation that was made was that I overstayed my visa. That visa was revoked without my knowledge on the 24th of October. I was flying from SFO, San Francisco, to Florida to give another talk about justice and freedom and rights. And as I went through SFO, I was informed that my visa had suddenly been revoked. When I was taken to the detention center, there was an immediate appeal to a federal judge who expressed such grave concern about the infringement of freedom of speech that they issued an immediate restraining order on ICE, meaning I was not to be transferred anywhere. And then another federal judge found that when there was a case of whether they had jurisdiction, the federal judge found we have jurisdiction because of the manner in which the visa was revoked, because the manner in which he was arrested, suggesting there was illegality in the way that I was arrested. I did nothing illegal in the US. Everything was within the visa. Everything was within the limits of what the visa allowed me to do. The visa was revoked because of my advocacy for Palestine. It was revoked because of my advocacy for Gaza. It was revoked because of an extremist group that decided to go to the State Department and leverage whatever influence it had to specifically target me and the Palestinian activism. It appears that calmer heads prevailed in the State Department when they realized that this was a botched job. They very swiftly came, they sat with my lawyers, they said, we don't want this to escalate, we don't want this to be a big deal, we're only doing the overstay. They didn't put any other charges in the charge sheet, and I said to them, I was supposed to be home 2nd of November, you've kept me here till 12th of November, I would like to go home because I have things to do. Based on the agreement made with the US, I am allowed to apply for a new visa. I am allowed to visit the US. There are no obstructions on me visiting the US. There is nothing on my record. I am entitled to visit the US, which is why the extremists are very upset and furious, because they thought that they would be able to accuse me of heinous crimes, and they found that 2 federal judges stood in their way because the courts are still alive, the rule of law is still alive, my freedom of speech is sacred, it is to be protected, and thank God it was protected by the federal courts. I think what is abundantly clear is that governments are recognizing the shift in public opinion that's taking place. You're from CNN from the US, you will note there are candidates running for the midterm elections who are openly saying they will no longer take AIPAC money, being aware that it is no longer something that is a political asset because of the shift in public opinion, because ordinary Americans, good Americans with good hearts, who saw those images of those children being slaughtered, were so moved by it that they have decided to take a principled position against genocide. This is what I meant when I said it's not about me. What they are upset about is not what Sami Hamdi says. They're upset that Americans are waking up, that Americans are moving, that Americans are mobilizing, and there is now a hysterical push in multiple Western capitals by an extremist lobby to silence voices of truth because people are listening. So my message to Western governors is, embrace this shift in public opinion. Embrace that truth and channel that into a victory like we saw with Mamdani in New York, who decided, as opposed to other candidates, not to talk about Israel or what's gone, but to talk about New York itself. America first, not Israel first. Britain first, not Israel first. That's my message to the Western governments. I think that one of the things that I admire about the UK, and indeed in the US, is that for all of the accusations that were thrown, the rule of law still stands. Twice they went to the federal courts in the US to try to push an accusation, and twice the federal court said it is unsubstantiated. Even in the UK here, despite the efforts of an extremist lobby to silence and restrict the freedom of speech of ordinary British citizens, of ordinary Americans, the courts continue to stand in their way because of the rule of law. I have faith in the rule of law. I had faith in the federal judges. I had faith in the court system, and my faith was rewarded. I am exonerated, and I'm here in London, and I'm hoping to play 7-a-side football on Sunday.
Maybe take one more question, perhaps. Is there anyone?
Will you be taking legal action against your supporters?
I am considering it, thinking about it.